They choose which ones to exclude. You recognized yourself as unique because you saw what others did not. You are not like other people, and this is your greatest strength, which distinguishes you. But I've got fantastic news for you. You do not have to expect everyone to understand you, because God has purposefully assigned you this responsibility. Your struggles on this journey were not in vain. Remember that watching this video here is no coincidence. A very important message is about to be delivered to you. From now on, stop hiding your peculiarities. They are what makes you distinct and strong. Acting based on others' expectations will only lead to disappointment. You're not here to get everyone's approval. You're here to live freely and courageously. By being honest to yourself. Many people have allowed themselves to be consumed by fictitious worlds. They cling to the community around them because they lack truly solid relationships, avoiding solitude because they are afraid of being alone and escaping silence. Their conversations lack depth, and their connections are superficial. They choose to associate with people who will not help them grow or challenge their boundaries because it requires less effort. Their lives are filled with pointless interactions that capture them without their knowledge. These people have little regard for the actual motives of others around them. As long as the commotion continues to distract people from their inner emptiness, they will not be as deep and insightful as you. And if they do see the video, they will not comprehend. Now, to activate your energy, type 77 in the comments section and let's go. Constant busyness in our modern world frequently serves as a distraction, a barrier to conceal an inner emptiness and gnawing unhappiness. We fill our calendars, chase after accomplishments, and occupy ourselves with endless duties in an effort to avoid the larger issues that lurk within us. Face those questions with courage. However, it is simpler to search out temporary distractions and phony securities than to face the real issues. The stillness of silence, the clarity of solitude. These are uncommon gifts which many people fear. However, it is at these moments that we have the opportunity to meet ourselves honestly, to explore the depths of our own being, and to acquire a deep understanding of who we truly are. However, for people who are always surrounded by crowds, this encounter is best avoided at all costs. They opt to fill the emptiness with fleeting joys and meaningless endeavors, seeking cheap thrills and surface-level interactions. These distractions may bring brief satisfaction, but they do not nurture the spirit. Over time, this superficiality becomes a deeply ingrained habit, gradually eroding their connection to their genuine self. As time passes, they become further alienated from their inner voice, meaningful purpose, and the deeper currents of life that could actually nourish them. They wander through life like travelers without a map, chasing just what is immediately in front of them without taking the time to ponder or search inward. The sadness is that in doing so, they give up the richness of their inner world in favor of outward diversions. They forget that life's most significant experiences come not from constant action, but from calm times of stillness in which we confront our vulnerabilities, admit our concerns, and rediscover what it means to live intentionally. Without this inner consciousness, without genuinely comprehending who they are at their heart, they are motivated not by a sense of purpose or vision, but rather by the instinct to survive. And in this never-ending cycle of doing rather than being, they risk ruining the life they were meant to have. Lost in the clamor of a world that values speed over depth, busyness over purpose, and diversion over discovery, you detect the emptiness beneath their phony smiles and refuse to fall for it. You choose quiet over commotion because it contains the whispers of your inner understanding. Instead of remaining in an environment where others do not understand you, you choose to go along a solitary and rugged path, despite the fact that obstacles develop with each step. You understand that you're alone is a refuge, not loneliness. You do not sacrifice yourself to fit in. You do not weaken your own self in order to meet the expectations of others who do not regard you. You move forward with your own truths, even if you are alone, while others hold on to lies. You are not scared to go through shadows because you know those who are intended to be with you will find you. You are not understood since most people lack the awareness to appreciate your depth. They glance at your surface and think they've solved your complete essence. To them, you are like an unsolvable equation. As a result, they pass judgment without comprehending your situation. They misinterpret your calmness as coldness and your self-confidence as arrogance based on outward appearances. When you stand firm, they will withdraw themselves from you. When you defend your truth, people believe you have a hidden goal. People are wary of things they don't comprehend because they challenge the bounds of the world they believe they know. Like a dazzling brightness. You test the bounds of their habits, which upsets them. They prefer to stay behind. They will immediately label you because naming their fear allows them to believe they have control over it. Your energy is foreign to them. They utilize a lack of understanding to erect their own judgment barriers. Instead of accepting what they don't know and having the bravery to find your identity, they choose to confine you to simplistic cliches. When people try to define you with these simplistic labels, they are actually sheltering themselves because confronting the unexpected needs courage and depth that not everyone possesses. People prefer to simplify the complexity in front of them in order to maintain their internal tranquility. As a result, they feel more secure by believing they have power and placing you in boxes. However, these superficial assessments exacerbate their real concerns and inner emptiness. Being wary of the unknown renders people vulnerable to change and stagnation. However, you are unconcerned with these constraints since you seek insight beyond them. Your brilliant light, while unsettling them, can also lead them to a higher level of consciousness. Your presence upsets their usual rhythms. Thus, misunderstanding or attempting to box you is a protective technique. Those that seek the truth, on the other hand, look beyond these superficial judgments and strive to comprehend who you truly are. Discovering this depth represents true courage. Despite appearing serene on the surface, you discreetly carry storms that others cannot see. Your inner strength is constantly expanding. They cannot understand why you do not follow their routines or refuse to perform phony roles. They are uneasy because they have to see you advance without their approval. While they cling to narrow-minded comfort zones, you go forward by breaking away from their judgments. Independent and free. You don't expect others to comprehend you because your path takes you somewhere they don't know. God's plan for you does not adhere to the conventional rules of this world. Being alone on this route can seem like being excluded. However, this separation does not constitute a distancing. It's a process that makes you stronger and more mature. Your seclusion sharpens your soul and serves as a catalyst for transformation, preparing you for God's plan. You're not forgotten. The moment destined for you has long been prepared and will occur unexpectedly. When it comes, the essence of who you are will shine through in the eyes of people who don't understand you, shattering their biases. Those who dismissed you will have to confront the truth. They can't keep the secrets they hide from being revealed. The same people who previously ignored you will have to acknowledge the reality revealed by God, their words. Threats will become meaningless echoes that lose their meaning as they understand they can never control your fate. You have been summoned on a unique trip that only a few can comprehend. This seclusion is not a burden, but rather part of a significant responsibility. You are preparing to fulfill a much bigger cause than transient adulation from others. You're being formed in silence. God is preparing your way, while others seek momentary praise and short-term riches. You are prepared for something much deeper and longer lasting. When the time comes, you will not need to explain yourself. The truth will come up around you like a wave. It cannot be silenced or ignored. Everything that was previously hidden will become clear, and those who do not comprehend you will have no choice but to embrace the reality. You feel your criticisms coming in waves. Harsh and merciless people condemn you without knowing you, making erroneous conclusions based on their ignorance and misrepresenting your behavior and words. Instead of confronting their own disarray, they attempt to fit you into fabricated narratives manufactured by their constricted imaginations. They stick to their simplistic notions because it requires less effort. These voices speak as if they have authority over you. However, they are not speaking directly, but rather from their anxieties and limitations. They are too far off from comprehending the profound motivations that drive you internally. Many critics hide behind the illusion of truth. They appear to be on a divine path, with behaviors ornamented with apparent honesty, yet they are actually full of arrogance and jealousy. They speak about mercy yet pass judgment. They wear a facade of innocence while making scathing remarks. They were quick to point out flaws but hesitant to admit their own deficiencies. They ask for a lot of grace for themselves but never extend it to others. Their comments are harsh but hollow, like leafless branches tossed by a wind. Their presence is non-existent. However, they intend to create agony. This hypocrisy just exposes their own flaws. You are visible in the sight of God. He sees truths that others refuse to accept. You are strong not because you are perfect, but because your soul is completely exposed to its rightful owner. While others spew lies and slanders, God recognizes the sincerity in your heart. Words cannot shake the reality that is entrenched in your spirit. Ultimately, attempting to destroy you is as fruitless as trying to stop a drop in the sea. God regards judgments as meaningless. Who understands your heart perfectly? You depart from the route that everyone follows because you were intended to be unique. You tread a path carved by your own volition, paved with challenges that others avoid. Communities join together for security. You've learned to believe in your own strength. Your determination stems from a depth that others are afraid to explore. Solitude does not bring dread, but rather clarity and vision. There is a meaning that others can never grasp. Your strength comes from within, without the need for external acceptance. It becomes deeper as you continue down this route. You don't seek outward support or recognition because your actual power comes from within, away from the chaos of the outside world and the demands for approbation. You have a solid, persistent passion that never wavers, even in solitude. While loneliness may appear terrifying and empty to many, it holds meaning and depth for you. There, you recognize your actual self and grow stronger. Voices that try to divert your attention away from your goals, pressures, or cultural expectations. You stand firm because your path is centered on your inner world rather than the exterior. The way people perceive or evaluate you is irrelevant to you. You're preoccupied with discovering who you are and where you fit into the world. You created your own truths, values, and beliefs. The obstacles that others shun become chances and trials for you. These trials build your character and help you evolve. Your individuality may appear to indicate a lack of understanding, while others seek security. The security circles that societies create to keep people together may feel like chains to you because freedom and individual journeys are far more important to you. You understand what it is to stand on your own 2 feet while others look for safe harbors. You are not frightened to encounter storms since they will make you stronger. Walking this road may result in not being understood by others. However, this should not discourage you because you have chosen your own route, not theirs. Your strength is a power that does not require others' approval. This inner power always propels you onward, urging you to live your truth, even if you must travel alone on this road. That loneliness becomes your most dependable companion. You can see your vision more clearly and discover the deep meaning life has for you. You have a power that others find difficult to comprehend. They grow nervous because they are unable to comprehend the profundity of your existence. You emit energy that deviates from the social patterns that limit themselves. Your goal is not to instill dread in them, but rather to challenge their usual routine. Your inner strength demonstrates your confidence and clarity that others lack. They say, avoid your glances, because facing you forces them to recognize their own flaws. Criticisms directed at you are rarely delivered with boldness, because they understand they are not strong enough to approach you directly. The silent yet strong position within you contains a resolution that is impervious to slander and insults. They avoid confronting you since it would disclose their own flaws. Meanwhile, you move softly and confidently, becoming more determined and unshakable with each stride. Their trouble understanding you demonstrates your uniqueness and power. Solitude is not a weakness for you. On the contrary, it highlights your strength. While many people try to disguise their flaws by relying on others, you have opted to stand solid on your own 2 feet. The audience does not provide you with support, rather, your inner resilience does. You are one of the few people who don't mind being alone. You've turned your loneliness into a skill, which has helped you strengthen yourself. Independent people are both revered and despised since they have the strength to maintain their presence without relying on others. Others cling on. Your presence serves as a reminder to others, disrupting their closely held patterns. You are a symbol that ignites the fear caused by uncontrollable forces, demonstrating how limited their limitations are. You are someone who is self-sufficient and does not require external approval. You rely on your own perception rather than the eyes of society. Your presence is felt everywhere, even if no one notices. Other people's judgments and critiques will have no effect on the course you choose. Their comments are transient as long as you press forward with steadfast purpose. No obstacle in your path will be lasting. Their impositions are but a faint echo in comparison to the huge objective that awaits. Your adventure is approaching a climax that only you can fathom. You are an unbreakable force that advances exclusively by following your own compass. Words cannot distract you. No weakness can stop you. You travel alone with resolve because you are advancing to locations only minority can access. With invulnerability and power unaffected by shadows. As you continue on your route with determination, the sounds around you become a hum. Others, locked in their narrow perspectives, express their ideas. However, these words have no value for you. When they speak, their words reflect more on their own faults and worries. These empty spoken voices are not there to reach out to you, but rather to relieve their own distress. Their opinions are insignificant enough not to harm you because you neither demanded nor need them. You are not looking for approval or admiration. Such superficial goods are fleeting and do not reflect your true worth. While others seek their truths, you turn to a different horizon. Their weak judgments cannot decide your worth, and this is unquestionable. The criticisms around you are like a mist that soon evaporates and vanishes before your sight. Your missions get strength from a deeper and more enduring source. Beyond ephemeral applause, The work imprinted on your life has a meaning that goes beyond human comprehension, and other voices are ineffectual in the face of such a huge calling. What people say won't halt the movement you've already started, even if others criticize you and argue your worth. You move forward untouched. Their restricted viewpoints cannot reach you. They do not need to comprehend your steps or ambitions. External judgments cannot support the purpose that is burning within you. You're headed for a goal that is beyond their comprehension. And even if they try to entice you into their small areas, their efforts are futile. You are propelled forward by an invisible force, whose route is invisible to the naked eye. You continue to grow steadily on your own road, while others spend their time judging others. They avoid looking at their own life, believing it is easier to condemn what they do not understand. They sabotage their own advancement by criticizing others' behavior rather than confronting the reality, and they target others in order to conceal their own faults. These objections impede their own progress. In reality, if they focused their energy on developing themselves rather than evaluating others, they could advance far further. However, by ignoring inner work and focusing on gossip and accusations, they disregard their own lives. Meanwhile, you continue on without paying attention to the hubbub while they avoid their own shortcomings. The remarks they directed at you were only an escape from their own issues. Criticizing you is a mask people wear to hide their anxieties and failures. However, these efforts merely expose their own flaws and squander energy. You may embrace others' criticisms as thoughts. They must realize the power they may cultivate inside themselves by gazing at you. However, instead of looking inward and seizing this chance, they fail to recognize that criticism is a pointless attempt and remain imprisoned in the grip of their own shortcomings. Meanwhile, you continue to advance unabated. You are experiencing a rise that not everyone can simply understand. Breaking the ties of fear, uncertainty, and normalcy that have existed for millennia. You break out of these patterns. You reject the limitations of the past when others accept defeat on routes. You take risks that no one has before. These problems will not deter you. Instead, they become driving forces, propelling you forward. Each stride you take removes obstacles that others considered impenetrable, expanding horizons they thought were limited. Every action you take creates an original path and sets an example for people who will observe and learn from you. You continue to advance forcefully, ignoring rumor and false charges from others. Their remarks are like a soft mist. A touch can scatter them, and they are insignia focused in comparison to the magnificence of the road you are taking. They notice your underlying power, and this strength exposes their own fragility, making them fearful as they pursue shallow interests and phony appreciation. You stroll silently. Your deeds have a far greater impact than hearsay. Your achievement is unavoidable because it is driven by a mission greater than ourselves. Only one power is valid, and it is beyond human understanding. No impediment, false allegation, or animosity can deter you. Your path does not conform to worldly standards. You progress in a higher order. Those who attempt to stop you are ineffectual on this path. They may whisper and strategize, but their efforts are in vain. Your triumphs have already been written into your destiny, and no defamation can change that. You continue to rise. You are unaffected by the sounds around you because you know who holds your fate. This growth is unavoidable and inescapable. Your critics are fixated on your most evident characteristics, spending their time with trivial thoughts like birds fishing in shallow seas. They feel safe on the surface because they lack the ability to recognize what lurks beneath. Their focus is on the outer, your appearance, decisions, and achievements. They, however, are unable to perceive your inner strength and meaning. Their shallow appraisals arise from their failure to understand your actual purpose. The true value you provide to the world slips their eyes because they only see the surface and not the depth of your essence. As you move forward with deep-rooted strength, external voices are ineffective to you. You walk with a mission fashioned by wisdom and unwavering drive from difficult experiences. Temporary trends or superficial successes cannot accurately assess your worth. What you contribute is far more permanent and important. They are unable to recognize the depth you possess because they have limited themselves by focusing exclusively on simple, quickly consumed, and rapidly praised items. Their limited perspectives prevent them from recognizing your true strengths. Attempts to destroy you reveal their own flaws and waste their energy, which is decreasing. While others are caught up in their own shadows, your cause grows stronger and resonates. You keep moving forward with determination. You are not built for the patterns. Others want to constrain you, but your strength comes from being unique, exceeding expectations, and pursuing a road that only you can take. Not everyone may understand the depth and power you wield. This is really normal. You have overcome the limitations of people who misunderstand you because they are unable to see your genuine potential and identity. Their judgments are utterly invalid in light of the larger plan that governs your existence. Embrace your originality completely, for that is what makes you powerful and privileged in a world that wants conformity and compliance. Your determination to resist demonstrates your genuine power. You are moving forward with a vision that those who are lost in ordinary life cannot understand. The more you adhere to your own uniqueness, the stronger you grow. Without getting caught up in other people's opinions, continue to shine in your own light. You had to walk alone because not everyone could take the same path as you. Your solitude has made you stronger and more robust. Please listen to my final words. You are the selected ones. Return to yourself. You have not gone this far in vain, and you did not watch the entire video in vain. We also have a mission to remind the chosen ones about themselves. However, we have no financial support for this. You may help us by clicking the Super Thanks button below.